Good morning, saints, snitches, and the rest of y'all still lying in the group chat. Welcome to Morning Tea and Allegations, where the devil gets no mic and the truth gets the final say. Just to get some. Hey, hey! She don't run on rumors, she run on receipts. Sanctified shade with the screenshots to preach. This ain't just gospel, it's gospel flow. She prays, she claps back and lets the spirit go. Bible in one hand, the dark's in the other. She speaks with fire, can't silence the truth. Hosted by Bianca, the snitch with a mission. Calling it out, cause our children deserve better. Morning tea and allegations, pouring truth with no hesitation. Accountability in rotation. This is gospel education. Transparency is our foundation. Integrity leads the conversation. No rumor, no speculation. Just facts, receipts, and revelation. Morning tea and allegations, where faith walks bold through shady temptation. No fake tongues, no false relations. Just truth, conviction, and conversation. Morning tea and allegations. Snitches on the airwaves. Known again, yeah. Allegations. Snitches on the airwaves. Morning tea and allegations. Snitches on the
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Tea and Allegations. Yes, indeed. We are season 4, episode 6, and the title of today's episode is If I'm Lying, Sue Me. Okay. We have an action-packed show, and I want to keep the show as brief as possible. So please make sure that you are saying something to me in the comments so that I can see you, whether you're here live or you're part of the replay ministry. I thank you. Thank you for being here, and welcome again to Morning Tea and Allegations. I really hope that you like the new theme song. I really worked hard on this thing, and it just gets me in a really good spirit. I just love it. Okay, snitches on the airways, and we're going to be snitching today. There's a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started with our church announcements. Amen. Okay. Sunshine Education Coalition is kicking off another series of the Parent Code Workshop. Their next session is actually tonight, September the 10th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The topic of this session is navigating school meetings, and I am going to provide you the link in the description and in the comments so that you can have access to that. The link will provide you access to see the different things that have already been published on their website, and also the videos of pre-recorded content from previous workshops that you can watch and catch up if you've missed it. So I have placed it on the screen. You can scan the QR code to register so that you can be in formation tonight at 6:30 with the Sunshine Education Coalition. Amen. Amen. And shout out to them for all the hard work that they are doing to combat the school to prison pipeline. It is a very serious matter, and I hope that there's more hands on deck as it relates to that, because our children matter. Our children deserve better. Moving forward on the church announcements, I just want to give a shout out to my Patreons, okay? I just want to thank them for the love. My equalizers and digital guardians over in Patreon, they get a preview of the docket. They get an opportunity to send me things. And as I've been sharing, I'm not fighting with these algorithms on these different social media networks. And so Patreon is my safe space where I share things that are not publicly posted on the internet. However, some of the things on Patreon does move over to my website at www.biancagoolsby.com, in which there is a link to join if you want to be a part of that exclusive community. But just shout out to my equalizers again for being in that space. It means a lot. Okay, so that concludes the church announcements, but we need to go ahead and run these disclaimers. And I want to be very, very intentional when I run these disclaimers. I need you to hear everything that I'm saying in these disclaimers and govern yourselves accordingly. Amen. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Thank you, church members, as we have additional announcements and disclaimers that require your full attention. I am a certified snitch and whistleblower that reports on what is happening in our community. Like I always say, people lie, receipts don't. With that stated, the content used in this programming is protected under fair use. In addition, the views and opinions on this programming belong to me. I hold myself accountable and prioritize accuracy and truthfulness in my communications. So unless you have receipts, don't start with me. God is still working on me. I love the block button to protect my peace, and I desire to snitch on everybody, including me. Thank you for your attention and govern yourselves accordingly. Amen.
Amen. Please govern yourselves accordingly to the disclaimer. Let's go ahead and move to the things on the docket today. So on episodes 3 and 5 of season 4, I shared some things about what is happening in Oklahoma. And I want to circle back to the discussion because the block is hot. The block is hot. I was sharing that Oklahoma has a new test with PragerU, and the superintendent has been dealing with his own scandal. The State Board of Education meeting was canceled on August the 28th, and tensions continued to rise as there were allegations of inappropriate content that was on the superintendent's TV. The superintendent claimed that the multiple school board members that saw it were lying and that it was all a political stunt. Well, the board fought to have a special called meeting, and the superintendent was a no-show. I want us to watch this clip together so that you could see what went down. So let me go ahead and share my screen so that we could watch this together.
Well, Superintendent Ryan Walters was a no-show today to his agency's own meeting.
Now some lawmakers are talking possible impeachment.
News 4's Dylan Brown was at the meeting and asked if impeachment is really something that could happen. Dylan?
Yeah, well, Kevin, Jolene, it's been talked before. They talked about it last year. Now, Oklahoma has become 50th in education throughout the nation. Right now, Superintendent Walters is being investigated for a movie with women naked shown on a TV in his office during a closed-door executive session. Now, some lawmakers say his no-show today is a call for impeachment itself. Others say it's just disagreement.
Mr. Tenney?
Here.
Superintendent Walters?
Superintendent Ryan Walters nowhere inside at Wednesday's special meeting. Board members held it anyway, announcing a new board attorney. It was over in 10 minutes.
Thank you. On behalf of the board.
Lawmakers at that meeting not happy about the state of Oklahoma schools.
Let's just do our job and help our kids. I'm not happy with 50. I hope no one in the state of Oklahoma is happy with number 50.
Oklahoma education, it's 50th in the nation. Superintendent Walters still is being looked at for naked women being on an office TV of his. $390,000 in bonuses have gone to teachers it wasn't supposed to. Funding wasn't going to schools that needed it. Lawmakers say there's enough there for impeachment.
I think there are plenty of instances that we could bring up that warrant a discussion of impeachment.
His incompetence is an impeachable offense, in my opinion.
Former lawmaker Mark McBride tried his last year in office. It didn't get the go-ahead from enough Republicans in the House, like Chair of Education Oversight Representative Dick Lowe, who was asked Wednesday, what about now? The process would have to start in the House.
We wouldn't want to start just impeaching people because we disagree with them.
Lowe did not sign on for impeachment last year.
You think that's the only thing that's happened is disagreements?
Well, right now,
he's done anything?
I don't think that we can go in there and say, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, he's broke the law.
The Oklahoma Constitution states it doesn't have to be just criminal.
It may not be criminal. It may not be a misdemeanor or felony, but we, like you said, we've dropped to 50th in the nation. So I would think that right there, that's incompetence.
While it might not be a conversation right now, several lawmakers say it should be.
Just his dereliction of duty and the shape that that agency is in.
Absolutely. There should have been talks about it 3 years ago.
Now, the Oklahoma County District Attorney told me today they are still reviewing the Walters investigation. We did hear back from the Department of Education, thanks to the Oklahoman, the newspaper. They say they approve of the attorney chosen. The department, though, never ended up getting back to me about why Walters wasn't at that meeting.
So I bring this up because I've been talking about this and I've been following this because what's been happening in Oklahoma is wild, particularly because of the PragerU test of making sure that we're getting woke teachers out of the profession of education. And then the scandal broke out and I was like, oh my gosh, it is so much that is going on. And meanwhile, the superintendent is like,
you are fake news,
not showing up in anything. So I just wondered, okay, with all the conversations about the incompetence with Oklahoma ranked 50th in education, I'm wondering if this applies to the leadership in Florida with teachers being ranked 50th in pay. So I'm just wondering if the incompetence that they're talking about in Oklahoma, could we also say that in Florida with teachers being ranked 50th in the nation for pay? This has all been an interesting story, and we've been following this for the past couple of episodes of Morning Tea and Allegations, and I look forward to learning more about this impeachment process if they decide to go that route, and what ultimately happened on the superintendent's TV that was fake news and the school board members were lying. Let's go ahead and shift because the National Assessment of Education Progress published its first report since the Trump administration began making cuts to the U.S. Department of Education. And what has been happening is that there are dozens of national and state assessments where we won't get those through 2032, it says. So I just want to show you the slide of some of the data that's been shared online and talked about. And I want us to have a discussion because when we're talking about our children and how are the children doing, well, I'm here to just show you the data. So in math, we see that 45% of our seniors scored below basic, which has been the lowest since 2005. Reading, 32% of seniors scored below basic. And it's been the lowest on record since 1992. This data highlights the major issue that's happening. Meanwhile, defunding public education. And on the last episode, I shared that you had representatives of this country share that public schools are failing our children and families in black and white in a document in one of their appropriation meetings. So I'm wondering, when we see this nation's report card and we see the data where 1/3 of our 12th graders are not prepared for college, who do we hold accountable for the data that we are seeing? I have questions. Yeah. So I'm going to share the article to this so that you can read up on it and get the data yourself so that you can look at it. It's wild to see, but also it's very real. Even in science, for our 8th graders, there are 38% of our students that fall below the basic threshold, which also marks a significant increase of deficiency. So while it might be easy to blame the pandemic and all of that, the data actually shows that these declines have been happening for more than a decade. So while it's cute to say this is just COVID, it's not. The declines have been happening more than a decade, folks. So while the pandemic definitely amplified the issue, especially with our lower performing students, we must be intentional with these type of reports because unfortunately, the federal and state cuts to education will make matters worse. Okay. So let's go ahead and shift because we need to talk about Hillsborough County. And I want to just give a shout out to school board member Jessica Vaughn. Okay. So school board chair Jessica Vaughn, she went live on September the 4th, and she shared and was very transparent about the bullying that was happening in the free state of Florida. Let me say that again, the free state of Florida. The threats from the Florida Education Commissioner and the Florida Attorney General regarding these book bans have been a hot topic for this school district, which is why the meeting was a lot. I do want to play some clips of some of the most interesting parts of the meeting so that we can watch them together. The first clip, did you know that we had 3 handmaids that showed up at the school board meeting? Let me go ahead and get this together so that we can roll the clip. Let me get it up because I saw the handmaids and I was like, what is happening at HCPS? Here we go.
Here, please.
Hi, my name is Cindy Richards, and I'm a Hillsborough County parent for 15 years. Our oldest is a Bloomingdale High School graduate, and our youngest is a freshman this year. My husband and I are both proud Florida natives and Navy veterans for 10 years each. I'm here today to talk about the banning of books. The recent approach I've seen of isolating uncomfortable snippets without full review, while sensational and attention grabbing, is simply wrong. Literally, judging a book by its cover or a few sentences inside is dangerous, and I'm here to urge you to honor this board's processes already in place. As a young, innocent girl, I was manipulated and preyed upon by people we teach our children to trust. My abusers took advantage of my innocence and ignorance and normalized the abuse, grooming me for future abusers. I did not realize I was abused, and it was abuse until I was well into my adulthood. The damage has been deep and lifelong. Books were a catalyst to my healing. They helped me break the cycle of abuse and arm my children with knowledge and understanding. I share this today, not for sympathy, but because I want you to understand that access to books, even the ones with difficult and scary messages, are vital to keeping our youth safe and healthy. Keeping children innocent and hiding hard truths also keeps them ignorant and more vulnerable to the pitfalls we all want to avoid. I'm asking you to honor your established book review processes. Consider each book in its entirety. Ask yourselves what message the book sends and whether it could change a child's life. Books are a safe space for understanding and enlightenment. They provide access to unattainable corners of the world and connect us all in our humanity. Exposing children to diversity in the world is not indoctrination. Limiting their worldview is. I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor the children who are falling through the cracks. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
So I saw it and I was like, wow, the imagery. It's really sad when you have state leaders that are using their power and influence to modify existing policies that are in place, which we're going to get to the actual book ban part and the vote of that. But I just also want to give a shout out to school board member Patty Rendon. When I tell you school board member Rendon be coming in there with statutes and things written out and asking questions with fidelity and really trying to get to the root of things and asking the tough questions, that is the energy that I like to see. I really appreciate her advocacy in this. And so she shared during board comments that she wanted a financial audit. And it got really spicy. And I want to talk about it because, as you know, Morning Tea and Allegations has been talking about the district, the budget, some of the shortfalls, the obstacles, and all of that for some years now. 5 to be exact. We're going to circle back on that. But I just want to play the clip where school board member Rendon was asking for a financial audit. And I hope that they really take a look at her request because there's a lot going on with the district. So let me go ahead and roll the clip.
We have board members that will also mention that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to say thank you to all of our staff. We've had a great beginning of a school year, and it's because of their due diligence and their work every single day with our students. And that does not go without notice to members of this board as well as the leadership of this district. So thank you very much. I have not been quiet about how I feel about making sure that we as a board are as educated and as informed as possible. And as a board, we have power under the statute of section 1001.42 to hire an independent auditor. I've previously asked that this subject be brought to the board so that we can get a comprehensive view of the district's financial status that reports only to us. And that is allowed by statute so that we can actually know that we have other information to be educated so we can ask proper questions. None of us are accountants, and I think it's very important to be able to have a different viewpoint so that we can properly make those decisions. I want to make a motion to direct the superintendent to bring an agenda item to the next board meeting to set up a process for the board to hire an auditor to perform a comprehensive audit of the district's financial status.
Okay, so Ms. Rendon is making a motion. You obviously cannot act on the substance of that tonight, but she's asking that a motion be passed that the superintendent would bring back an item allowing the board to hire an auditor. As she said, that's allowed specifically under Florida statutes. You have the power as a board to hire the superintendent, to have legal counsel, and to hire an independent auditor. So the motion requires a second if you want to discuss it further. And the motion will be to have an agenda item for the next meeting. So you need to second it. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so, sorry. Yeah. Your mic.
Doesn't mean I'm supporting it, but I do have some questions. Can I?
So there's a motion on the floor. Madam Chair, there's a motion on the floor. So there's
Dr. Hahn, right? I'm recognizing her.
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. So close.
She said she's not seconding it, right?
I am, but
Right.
it doesn't mean I'm supporting, like, in the end. It just, means that I have some questions. So when I came onto the board, we had done a financial audit, Gibson report, correct? So this is my concern, is we've done this before. It costs, I wasn't on the board. It was done, I think, the year before I became a board member, but it became like something we always referenced, but it was never like, I want to say like the majority of what was recommended that came out of that report was never implemented. And looking back, I mean, we still will reference, well, what did the Gibson, and it just, we really didn't do much. And maybe because, the following year and a half later, we had a superintendent retire, and then we had a new superintendent. Now we have a third superintendent. So, that blueprint, though, that was hundreds of thousands of dollars, if I recall, and I can only imagine what it costs in this economy. It's just my concern that I just need to understand what you want to gain from it, other than a report this big that sits in everybody's drawer. Because what is the goal with that? What is the problem you want to solve with that? Because when we look at our finances, what those reports typically say is, this is where you are financially, which I honestly think our CFO has given us a very good financial picture. And this is what you need. These are the cuts you need to make and the changes you need to make to be more efficient or save money. And I think we're doing that. We need to give our CFO a chance to do that. He's starting to be very strategic in some of the groups that he's put together and people he's put together to solve problems. And I don't have a lot of confidence that spending that kind of money is really going to reap the benefit that you think it is. I just going through it once, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear other board members, perspectives. And that's why I seconded this, because I understand why you want it, because you want to see, do we have duplication of effort with contracts and programs? But I don't think a financial audit, thank you, is necessarily going to get at that as much as and maybe they'll look at every single contract and every single program, but I kind of think they look at the books. But, and the Gibson report had a lot of information in there, and it just, it just was not utilized. I don't think we never got the benefit of what the investment was. There was no ROI. That's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hahn. Member Gray?
Yes, I remember the Gibson report, and it was 2 thick volumes. I still have it. It wasn't really an audit as much as what we should do, the better way of work. We wanted to centralize many of our way of work, many of our divisions, etc. Our audits, and just for your satisfaction, Member Endon, from the Council of Great City Schools, we've had internal audits, we've had that audit, and there's and Dr. Whalen, what was the name of that alphabet audit we had? It was all perfect audits. And I can't remember not the Gibson, it was, that's it, say it. Yeah.
It was when we were going out, the OPAGA.
The OPAGA.
And we,
all those audits were so sophisticated, but they were very, very lending to us there was hardly any errors. It was one of the above average audits. Back to the expense, we spent over $15,000, maybe $20,000 for that Gibson report.
It was close to $1 million. It was about in 2017, 2018, close to $1 million.
$900,000.
Thank you, Mr.
$1 million. Okay, let's round it up. And how much was it used? Very, very little. Very little. And the only school board member that really used it and referenced, and Superintendent Van Ayers, you are very keenly reminded, it was Member Snively would refer to that Gibson report. But when you start spending money on a report that we have already had positive reviews from, and there's another financial report we had, and then you have a CFO who's doing a stellar job with his team, I would rather go ahead, and there's classes too, Member Randon, that you can take on financial, the way of work for school districts. The Florida School Board Association does offer that. So, that would also help the financial literacy if needed. But I'm satisfied with the current reports, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Combs?
Thank you, Chair Vaughn. I agree with Member Hahn and Member Gray. I remember several years ago when I was chair of the school board and we found a new auditor. I was so surprised at the process that I went through and how when they selected different committee members, when I was chair, it was amazing what they went through to have an internal audit to make sure that it was really, anonymous, and having different committee members and different people, and the way the selection process was. It made me feel very confident with the district when I saw the type of process that they went through to when we chose a new auditor. It was very challenging. And the way we interviewed every different group, the way we did the selection process, I was very, very impressed. And I agree. I mean, Mr. Lewis just came. You know, when you're being funded 50th in the nation and there's not a lot of money, we have to watch every single penny. So we have to give time to Mr. Lewis. We have Dr. Patton working closely together to really look at that. I think we have a lot of talent here that we can take care of that internally and work on that and make sure that your needs are being met and your questions are being asked. We don't go from a bond rate. We don't increase bond rating if we're not on the right direction. And that's for sure. Our bond rating would not be increasing if we were not doing the best that we can. So I think we need to continue looking at internally, keep looking at the way we can, really look at different schools, look at repurposing, keep looking at every single contract and all of that. And I believe in the talent and the money that we spend on our cabinet and different individuals to work on that. And I believe, Mr. Lewis, you can work on that. And in a few months, maybe we can create a workshop and look at it closer. But I do not think this is the time right now to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Combs. I'm open to an idea of a forensic audit. But for me, I'm just not ready to support making a motion from the dais. I would have to have more of an understanding before I even wanted an agenda brought forward of the cost, the time, the return on investment. So for me, it's not a no on just the idea. It's the way that, it's coming from last minutes of comments at the end of a meeting where I can barely speak anymore because I'm so tired. And, if it's something that we're interested in exploring and the superintendent's interested in it, I'm certainly open to hearing more about it. But to me, I'd have so many more questions than just an item coming forward on the agenda. And I would like more opportunity for us to discuss it as the board in the sunshine than just an agenda review. An agenda item. So for me, I'm open to the idea, but this is just not the place where I'm going to support it. Thank you. I gotta recognize you, Member Rendon. We'll go get there, guys.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I only want to address one issue. The only reason it's been brought here at the end of the evening tonight is because it's the only time I'm allowed to bring it in on the sunshine. It is not to surprise anyone. It is different than anything we've ever done before. Every audit that's ever been done before has been done and directed by the district. So the district controls how the audits are done. You guys have the right to vote. Let me make it very clear to Member Gray. I am not just gone to classes about budget, but I'm the only certified board member from Florida School Board Association that has taken the classes, Member Gray. So please do not be condescending to me anymore. Ooh. Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Did you have any other closing comments, Member Rendon? I'm going to assume not. Were there other members in the queue for closing comments?
Yes, indeed. So that was interesting to see. And again, I'm just going to give a shout out to School Board Member Patty Rendon. That's what I'm going to do, because keep asking those questions. Keep holding folks accountable. I appreciate your advocacy and the way that you are showing up on the school board. I thank you. Okay. Next, the vote. Okay. The school book vote. There were so many parents and advocates and folks that wanted to ban books, folks that didn't want books to be banned, folks that wanted to uphold the process, folks that thought that the Attorney General and the FDLE, the Florida Department of Education should go ahead and take steps here to make sure that the books are removed from schools. And people have their different opinions about this. But I want to get to the vote. And this was a very interesting conversation. But one of the things that I just want to uplift is Jessica Vaughn's point that was made before the vote, that she was very intentional to put on record so that people knew the different things that were happening behind the scenes before they took that vote. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
So Therefore, as the Attorney General said, our process is flawed. And this is one way that we are starting in that process of bringing things right to this district and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. I do want to point out that I appreciate you referencing those statutes, but nothing has changed statutorily since we had these discussions and followed our process about the review process from 2 years ago. Those statutes were in play. So if there was something that we had done to violate the law, there were 2 years where the Attorney General or the state legislation or the governor had to address that. However, I was hoping to table the motion, but since it's failed to pass, I do have comments on the main motion. I want to begin by clearly stating my position on the motion to remove these 2 books from our school libraries. This issue strikes at the core of parental rights, constitutional freedoms, and our responsibilities as an elected official. If I vote to remove these books, it's not because I believe it's right, but because I'm under duress and facing explicit threats of legal actions, including possible arrest or removal from office. I insist that this coercion be officially recorded in the minutes of this meeting. It's essential that the public and any reviewing authority understand the true context behind this vote. In May, Attorney General James Upmeyer issued a directive stating, and I quote, "The materials listed above should immediately be removed, and I'll monitor your actions to determine whether formal legal action by my office is warranted." While I respect the Attorney General's office, these threats are not grounded in sound legal precedent. Forcing elected officials to act against both established legal interpretations and the will of the public is unconstitutional. It undermines the principle of democratic governance. This kind of coercion is an abuse of power. It reflects authoritarian tactics that threaten the freedoms that were sworn to uphold regardless of political affiliation. Despite this, if I were to vote in favor of removing these 2 books today, it's solely due to the legal pressure being applied. I've spoken with many voters, and they've urged me to vote in a way that allows me to remain in office, so I can continue representing their voices and values. They understand the threats we're facing and the legal process that we're facing, and have made it clear that they will find other ways to fight this battle. In our prior vote to retain these books, we followed the law and honored the findings of both a local review committee and a district-wide panel. These committees recognized the educational value of the materials and affirmed the importance of literacy, inclusion, and student access. We simply upheld a thoughtful, transparent, and legal process that reflected the values of our community. To those who came and spoke out today, I hear you. Your frustration is justified, but let's aim our outrage where it truly belongs. At the State Board of Education, which falsely accused our dedicated media specialists of being child abusers. At the Attorney General, who has issued threats without solid legal basis, and at the broader failure to provide clear, consistent, and transparent guidance around the law. Our educators deserve our respect, not baseless attacks, fear, or confusion created by shifting political demands. Regardless of where anyone stands on these specific books, we must agree on this. Transparency, due process, and the respect for the law matter. Abandoning those principles damages public trust in education and weakens the democratic systems we all rely on. Finally, let's be honest. These ongoing political attacks on books and classrooms are hurting our students. When culture wars divide our community and pit parents against parent, no one wins. Only our children lose. This fight goes beyond a single school board vote. It's about protecting the rights of all students, parents, and educators and elected officials from overreach and intimidation at the state level. Thank you. Now, seeing that there are no questions or comments, further questions or comments, please vote when your lights appear. Do you want to give clarification on what the vote is?
Board members, the superintendent has recommended that the 2 books that he described earlier be removed based on guidance from the state. So If you're in favor of removing the books, vote yes. If you're in favor of keeping the books, vote no.
And the motion passes unanimously. At this time, we're going to take a 5-minute recess to allow those who want to leave an opportunity to do so.
I just want to just give another shout out to School Board Chair Jessica Vaughn. I'm glad that she was able to put that on the record so that people know what's happening, because they are being bullied by state leaders about these books. And again, it's wild when I was just showing the data of how nationally we are ranking the lowest since 2005 and 1999, 1992. That's wild. And we are seeing the ramifications of the dismantling of public education. And what is that doing to the culture and climate? And it's sad. So I just want to just uplift that, folks, I need you to be intentional with these school board meetings and know what's happening. This is why I am uplifting again the Sunshine Education Coalition, and they are having a session tonight at 6:30 p.m. talking about navigating school meetings, because you need to be aware of the different conversations that's happening, the different votes that are taking place. And something that I found interesting, and I hope that y'all can help me find it, because I went on TikTok to try to find who she was talking about, but I didn't find them yet. So if y'all could slide this TikTok teacher in my inbox, I would love to know who this teacher is at Lanier Elementary. But let me go ahead and play the clip of what the allegation is.
I have been alerted that there is a teacher at Lanier Elementary who has been live streaming very, very weird, political, extreme live streams and publishing them on TikTok on their from their social media from their classroom. And I'm very concerned about that. And I would like to figure out what our stance is as a district. I know that, you know, we've heard the messaging over and over again. We want to create a district where all parents feel comfortable sending their kids to schools, that there's no indoctrination. And when you have a teacher who's from their classroom, especially if they teach ESOL, talking about how we don't want immigrants in our country, I think it's an extreme problem and something that I'd like some feedback on what we're doing as far as that. Other than those things and the night that we've had, I do want to say that, you know, even though tonight has been extremely hard and, you know, we've had to talk about some issues that we all feel strongly about, like, I am still super proud to.
Yeah, so if y'all can help me find that TikTok teacher, I would love to see the content, to see what they're posting, just to be nosy. But that is wild work. Employees that are on social media posting their children, or even interacting on social media pages and showing up during class instructional time, it is a violation of policy, which I'm glad that we're going to get into that. But before we do, School Board Chair Jessica Vaughn is going live tonight, and she's going live on her page at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to get an update from Jessica Vaughn, go to her page on Facebook at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and she will be there waiting on you. She said, be ready. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and shift to our education. Not even our education, I'm sorry. We're shifting to our educator confession. Okay. I want to read this verbatim. Okay. When I watched The Unknown Number on Netflix, it didn't just trigger me, it activated me. Because for 5 years, I have been systemically harassed online by a Hillsborough County public school teacher and a communication team member of the NAACP. 5 years of fake pages, doxing, digital abuse, all because I dared to expose his taxpayer-funded political side hustle. But here's what I know. My voice has power. My voice has purpose. The receipts will always outlast the lie. That's why yesterday I filed a comprehensive complaint against this employee, because the harassment is not a game, and silence only protects the oppressor, not the truth. And I know I'm not the only educator living with a story like this. Some of you have been bullied, harassed, or retaliated against just for speaking up. And if that's you, this space is for you. Your truth matters. Your receipts matter. And this platform will always hold space for accountability. This educator confessional is mine. And I want to highlight the power of receipts. And just like many of my investigations, what's done in the dark will come out into the light. Most of this harassment and conflict was documented. I was on season 2 of Morning Tea and Allegations, and some of the episodes that I'm going to reference. You can go back and rewatch it or watch for the first time. So before I play the clips from season 2, I do want to transition and play a song. And the song is, "If I'm Lying, Sue Me."
We gather here today in the name of truth and digital justice. 5 years of harassment. But honey, today we serve the receipts hot, fresh, and piping petty. Kéto, this one's for you, sir. Because people lie, but receipts don't. 5 long years of fake names, fake games. Spreading your lies, but receipts hold the flames. You thought you were hidden, but truth don't sleep. And I got the screenshots, the evidence deep. You wanna test me, then do it in court. But don't get it twisted, that's your last resort. I'm not filing nothing, I'm just living free. If you think I'm lying, then sue me. Sue me, Kéto, if you think I lied. 5 years of harassment, you can't hide. People lie, but receipts stand tall. And I got evidence to expose it all. I said what I said, ain't taking it back. Accountability coming on track. You want the core, then step on through. But the burden ain't mine, it's all on you. You're doing this mess on district time. When children in your class should be on your mind. This ain't the first time you've been pulled aside. Warnings ignored, still running your life. So I ask these boys, do your values align? 'Cause he's repping your name while crossing the line. The cease and desist, the nail in the lid, not public record, but I know what you did. If you think I lied, 5 years of harassment, you can't.
Yes, indeed. All right. So we are here to talk about this because this is a very serious matter for me. And there have been a lot of things that have resurfaced, came up. And if you have not seen Unknown Number on Netflix, I highly recommend that you see it. It is wild, wild. And so I just want to just share and document this, because part of this I'm going to clip and share, because I have written an article. I've highlighted all of the receipts as it relates to this matter. And as you know, I'm not going to get on the internet and just lie on someone. I am going to hold myself accountable and tell the truth. But also in this particular case, now the burden is going to be on him, because there are some things that have been posted and said that were actually privileged information, which means he had to get it from the source. And the source was, again, the NAACP of Hillsborough. So these are some of the receipts that I posted in the article that you can read. But I just want to let you know that I have been documenting this journey for quite a while. Some of the people who I thought was a part of it, different fake pages that were created, different screenshots and all the way to the creation date of this account and how this account used Teaching for the Culture's URL as a part of their profile, all the way to capturing various different screenshots of different things that have been said and the reporting of some of the content that ended up being removed because it violated my privacy. If you look to the far left, it talks about a cease and desist, which is in the song, the nail in the coffin, as you would say, because the cease and desist wasn't public record. In fact, there are screenshots that I've provided where I've messaged Joe Robinson, where I've messaged Yvette Lewis, where I have tried to resolve this matter privately for years. Reason being is because my ex-wife is a state representative and she needed to work with the NAACP to get things done. So we have made all different types of attempts to resolve the matter. And at this point, I'm going public after, again, not resolving the matter. There were questions that I had for Yvette Lewis as to how privileged information was shared to the fake page. And the link by reasonable suspicion is who I said it is, which I've been saying this since 2020. So this is nothing new. What was interesting was that I had people to come forward to me to tell me that he has bragged and said that he manages different fake pages, and different activists in Tampa have came forward to share what is going on. So when I tell you, it's very well documented, to the point there was an Instagram page that was created. They have deleted almost 60 Instagram posts yesterday. I've documented that, and you can see that on my page. And he was pictured on the Instagram page. It is wild. So it's a lot of stuff that is going on as it relates to this fake page and the history of that. And I just want to just take a trip to 2020 as I was documenting these things, because it's really, really important that I let y'all know that we need to hold individuals who do these type of things accountable. This page, the Instagram version of it, was featured in Florida politics because there were headlines that were saying that the city council candidate was deported. It's not cool. It's not right. And people need to be held accountable for things like that. And I am just blowing the whistle here because I know who did it. It's him. And now, if he feels like I'm lying, take me to court so that we can get the record subpoena, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to really resolve this. Okay. Now, he has said that he is a part of it to different people. And by looking at the history and the metadata, it looks like him. And while the district is preparing my records, I can't wait to update y'all on that journey. But when I tell you, people lie, receipts don't. So I really hope that y'all out here hold Kéto Nord accountable for the things that he's been doing online, to where now there are different pages out here where he says that the Instagram page is not associated with the fake Facebook page, but we don't know. We don't know, okay? We don't. But what I do know is that Facebook page is him. Now, let's go ahead and turn you to episode 9 of season 2, and I want you to hear what I said then. And it leads me to my last technical foul for today's episode. And this is just going to be just uncut at this point because I'm fed up. There's a lot of dirty politics that's taking place, especially in the school board District 5 race in Hillsborough County. That is the nastiest race that I've ever seen in my life. And mind you, I'm just hopping into this thing because honestly, if they were doing right by the kids, I would probably still be working at Jennings Middle School, teaching our kids how to code, because that's what I do. There's narratives out there that I was terminated from my position. I was never terminated from Hillsborough County Public Schools. I'm not sure why we are still on that. I mean, literally, we're still on that. You have people still posting about this, although the receipts are out there clear as day that I wasn't terminated, but neither here nor there. This isn't about me. This is about the situation as a whole. The situation is this technical foul is this dirty politics, which is interfering with the movement of our children. And I'm not sure who's behind these fake pages that are coming up and these people that's just posting reckless stuff on the internet and calling it receipts. What we need to do is we need to have a conversation on what receipts are and what they're not. Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to use the term receipts and think that you're posting receipts and it's an incorrect narrative and it's wrong. Y'all out here playing games on the backs of our children. And y'all wonder why our children are not doing well. Look at the community. Why all of a sudden, when we hold people accountable, y'all want to talk about unity and how we all need to be one accord. But when all this chaos and this foolishness is happening, y'all want to sit silent. Keep that same energy. Some of y'all have been quiet about the education system for well too long. And now all of a sudden, because it's become a popular topic, y'all want to talk about it? Shut up. If you have not been intentional with figuring out about this system, if you have not been in this system, if you don't know what's going on, shut up. You're not helping. You're harming the situation because you're coming out here with incorrect narratives and you're creating chaos. And then y'all want to scream unity at the end of the day after your hands aren't clean. All I do is post receipts. And if you're upset with that, I don't care. The thing is, this fight is for the kids. So for Kéto, if you involved in this, sir, you have bigger fish to fry because you still out here campaigning for Tamara Schamberger on the Hillsborough County time. And you upset with me because I talk about it? Sir, what you don't need to do is violate the policy and I wouldn't have to talk about it. How about that? So the things that were posted just continue to appear. It just got really personal. Again, I shared about my personnel file and how folks got access to that. And it was Joe Robinson of the NAACP that requested that per the district. And so because of my belief that Kéto Nord is very integral in the NAACP, which he does the communication. So it's very reasonable to think that that's how he got access to it to post on this Gmail account. Again, all of this is documented so that you can go see it yourself. But the following week, more pages started to appear. And the Queen of Tampa, that's what she calls herself, she produced over a 50-minute live about me. And she just... I just want to share a portion because it referenced something that I want to talk about that I said on episode 10, titled Decency is on the Ballot. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
The second issue why I'm doing this video, because it was brought to my attention that Bianca Gooseby is going around making false claims. The one who I truly admire because of her savviness in her reporting of facts with quote unquote alleged receipts. But from everyone contacting me, from retired police officers, from police officers who are on the force, to a dear friend of mine who works for FDLE up in Tallahassee, we're finding out that there was a fake Facebook page that was made in my name. let me see if I can pull the page up. Now, the person that reported this page to me is a police officer, because this page was liking and commenting things on a candidate's page, and they were trying to figure out whether or not this was really me doing this. But after they did their research, and after they did their due diligence, and after they tracked it down to the IPS address and to the private VPN number that they thought that they were going to be able to hide themselves behind, we were able to figure out who this was. Now, isn't that something? What you're about to hear is this. This is the voice of Bianca Gooseby.
It's also something interesting that I saw. Noticed that a lot of people that had endorsed Tammy was talked about in a post, but I didn't see anything about Michelle Williams. You probably should start asking questions, because law enforcement is.
Let me play it again.
It's also something interesting that I saw. Noticed that a lot of people that had endorsed Tammy was talked about in a post, but I didn't see anything about Michelle Williams. You probably should start asking questions, because law enforcement is.
So Bianca Gooseby called law enforcement upon me because she says that I'm behind this fake Facebook page named Sam Horn. I don't have the time, the tenacity, nor the apparatus to do some bullshit like that. That takes too much energy. And what I'm not about to do, I'm not about to give anyone energy. I'm not about to give anyone energy. The way I was going to come on this Facebook video this evening, and I was getting ready to rip Bianca Gooseby a new ass. When I tell you, I was getting ready to send her back to where she came from. Now, the police have been called on me by Bianca Gooseby, and I have nothing to do with this Facebook page called Sam Horn. I have nothing to do with this page. While I am laughing at this page, because all of the energy that Bianca Gooseby has put out against so many people, especially school board member Tammy Schamberger in this community, you know, I find it funny that you're unable to take the karma that's coming back towards you. Now, I'm not friends with Bianca on Facebook. She's been blocked. So you create a fake Facebook page, and then you turn around and you call other people in the community spreading lies that I'm the one that's behind this fake Facebook page without any proof. I don't care who it is, whether or not it's HCSO, whether or not it's TPD, whether or not it's FDLE, whether or not it's the motherfucking FBI. I don't give a damn darn who you call or who you get involved with. There is nothing that will pipe anything back to anything coming up out of this household. None of my 7 cell phones, none of my goddamn iPads, none of my goddamn laptops, nor my desktop computers. Not one thing says that Michelle Williams is behind this page, but yet you have risen up against me without just cause, and you have wrongfully accused me of something that I have nothing to do with. Y'all, I don't know why all day today I had this smell of sacrificial blood in my nose. Like, I'm not gonna be happy until I sacrifice something. I'm about to go get one of these roosters out this cage out here and sacrifice it. That's what I'm getting ready to do.
I just want to come on this space to say, Michelle Williams, I am sorry that I had suspicion that you were over the page. It was reasonable suspicion because of the number of followers that you have and how quickly you were able to connect with Ben Benneker and have those conversations, and it seemed and appeared that you had insider knowledge. Well, later down this line, we do find out that you are very well aware that Kéto is part of this Facebook page at this point. So I apologize for saying that you are part of it, although I want to be very clear with how I framed it and how I said it. And I want to play what I said back then so that we are clear about this matter. Because after this, I'm done. I don't want to talk about this no more. I don't want to revisit it anymore. I don't want to see nothing about Ben Benneker, Kéto, nor none of it. I hope that y'all hold people accountable, because there was a lot of things that was said and different people that were targeted. So let me roll the clip of what I said after.
So I'm laughing at the VPN commercial. Do y'all know that having a VPN doesn't shield you from criminal prosecution? You know that like although you have a VPN, you know that is tracked if it's subpoenaed, right? So I just find it funny that these people come out here with these narratives out here that don't know anything about technology, but swear they know everything. Ooh, child. Okay. Today's episode is there's decency on the ballot. We have 4 days left. Last episode was titled Technical Foul, and I went over and I discussed, what is a technical foul, and provided several examples of technical fouls that have taken place during this political season, especially in Hillsborough County. Playing games, there's so many fake pages out here. Just, I just don't understand it. And then I was accused of making a fake page. But the fake page was targeting me. The fake page threatened me, said that I was going to see my mom. My mom died. How am I going to see my mom unless I'm dead? Okay, let's continue. So we have 4 days left. And what I won't do, I won't go back and forth with folks that are not eligible to get a passport. I will not go back and forth with people using words such as disembarrassment. I will not go back and forth with people who are not eligible or who has never worked with children in an educational capacity. I wish them luck. I was sent a live video from this person. They went live 52 minutes, 34 seconds with a bunch of lies and partial receipts. And this is what I'll say. If you have receipts on the police report, please provide it to me. You said that the police tracked my IPS address, which is actually IP address, first of all, and a VPN, which obviously that's why I laughed at the commercial, because just ridiculous. To create fake pages. First of all, I have enough on my plate. I don't need to create fake pages to target me and my family to make accusations about stuff that's not even true. And we'll take screenshots that former candidate Selena Ward sent. She's involved in this, and screenshots from my conversations with Elvis Piggott, and then want to say that these are receipts. Okay. But then you take these said receipts and then you put narratives out there that's incorrect, and you're lying, and you're not being truthful. You're not being factual. And then you're saying, oh, I got you. Oh, you getting what you dished out. No, I have a receipt book, and I provide factual evidence of what's happening in the education system. I don't go and talk about all these different people because it don't matter to me. What matters to me is our children. And I don't know what the intention of the fake pages are, but it's not for children. It's not. So you can't say that, oh, I'm doing this because of the children. You're not, because you're hiding behind a fake Facebook page. You're hiding behind these, social media privacy settings. And then you think that, let's continue. So anyway, back to this live. That was 52 minutes and 34 seconds. That was a bunch of lies. I just post a police report. Since I called the police and I filed a report on you, please produce the report that I filed. Please let me know. I give you full consent to post it. You can post it on the internet. But guess what? You can't, because there's no records exist. And it's just so funny how like all these previous law enforcement officers, the FBI and all this is the same individual that was on live with Tamara Schamberger, who is the current school board member of District 5, and said on this interview that she contacted the FBI about the missing money with the school district, and the FBI told this individual that Tamara Schamberger was cleared for the missing money. But Tamara Schamberger is on the finance committee. So you mean to tell me that the FBI contacted you, someone who is on probation, they called you and they had a conversation with you about the finances of the 7th largest school district in the nation. And they told you that Tamara Schamberger had nothing to do about the money that has been mismanaged in this district, and you done put that out on the internet as if it was truth. All I'm going to say is that there's people that's been out here running their mouth, and they've been doing that for years without accountability, and time is up. Time is up. Okay. So then in this particular live that I'm talking about, she played part of a recording. And she played that recording about 11 times, it felt like. And I don't know if she liked my voice but she was using that snippet of the audio clip to say something and present a narrative that wasn't true. But it's just so interesting because I sent the recording to Mona Judge. Mona Judge did exactly what I knew she was going to do. So let me go ahead and go to my conversation with Mona Judge. Okay. Now, there's been several fake Facebook pages that's been out here, right? Okay. And one of those pages I had posted on my page, and there was a fake Facebook page that was created of Michelle Williams. And there was, people attacking Tammy supporters. But I noticed that there was no attack on Michelle Williams, but that she was an inmate at Cell Block C. So I was like, that's interesting. So then I told the people to flag the page. The page was taken down, and then another page created, and it was a fake Facebook page of Mona Judge. So me being me, I reach out to Mona Judge and I let her know that, hey, there's a fake profile on you. I told people to flag it, okay? And I just want to give you the heads up. So in that, I sent her strategically an audio recording, and I'm going to play it. I want to give you the heads up of a new fake Facebook page. The first one was Michelle Williams, and then the second one now is you. And it's the same post, the same vernacular as the Sam Horn Facebook page. That's fake. So I'm not sure if it's the same person that's involved in it. I did flag the post, so I'm just giving you the heads up, and I'm going to send you the link. I reported the page. I told several people to report the page in their messenger. I want to give you the heads up of a new fake Facebook page. The first one was Michelle Williams, and then the second one now is you. And it's the same post, the same vernacular as the Sam Horn Facebook page. That's fake. So I'm not sure if it's the same person that's involved in it. I did flag the post, so I'm just giving you the heads up, and I'm going to send you the link. I reported the page. I told several people to report the page in their messenger. Hopefully we can get the page taken down. But if you look at the post, it's very similar to the way that Sam Horn presents their information. Okay. And then I followed up with. It's also something interesting that I saw. Notice that a lot of people that had endorsed Tammy was talked about in a post, but I didn't see anything about Michelle Williams. You probably should start asking questions because law enforcement is. Right. So law enforcement is asking questions, and, it's just so interesting to me how, we have these lies with different narratives, and allegedly you have emails from, your sources, sis, that, it tracked back to me, and you said this on the internet, but where's your receipts? Where is your receipts on me creating a fake page to target me and the people that I care about? And allegedly these law enforcement officers, assisted you with this.
Still
No
waiting,
records
by the
found.
way. Still waiting. So I say all that to say that this has been a long time. A long time. Excuse me. And it is really sad to see all of the different things that are happening, that people are posting and not being held accountable for it. I hope that this concludes all of the activity that is happening and going on. The thing about receipts is that receipts always have a source. And if you have something that is privileged and confidential and you have access to it, and there's only so many people that have access to it, then you put yourself at risk because it's privileged, it's confidential. So The cease and desist was privileged. It wasn't sent electronically. It was mailed to the NAACP office, and it was mailed to Joe Robinson's home. And the fact that the fake Facebook page had access to it is why I reached out to the president, Yvette Lewis, to inquire as to how that information got there. Ultimately, as the president, she is responsible because that was a legal document from my attorney that was mailed to them. It wasn't sent electronically, it was mailed. So who had access to that office that gave it to the fake page? And with everything that has came out in the light, Kéto Nord is Ben Benneker. And if I'm lying, sue me. I hope that people are held accountable for their actions and the things that they're doing. And I'm just going to go ahead and close you out and wish y'all an amazing day. There's another part to the song that I want to play. And then I'm going to go ahead and tiptoe out of here since I'm at the courthouse now. And I'll be waiting. But the burden is going to be on him. I've done enough. I've said enough, and I'm tired. So you go see the article for yourself. Go see the receipts. People lie, receipts don't. And it is exhausting to go on the internet and not know if you're going to be talked about with lies and doxing and mischaracterizations because of a personal issue where they were upset that I exposed something that they are still doing today. But that's okay. More on that later because the district is investigating.
In the name of truth and transparency, if I'm lying, take it up legally. But harassment ain't holy, bullying ain't blessed, and receipts gon' preach louder than the rest. No more lies, no more fear, no more fear. 5 years of games, but the truth is here. In my file, leaking my records with a crooked smile, and it ain't just me. You came for them too, targeting others. What's wrong with you? Accountability's truth, that's righteous and fair.